Right, good evening. It's Graham Healy from Rise Up Australia, Brisbane 2025. This little short broadcast is basically on the economy. Now, I'm no economist, but I've been in various businesses over the years, so I've got a reasonable idea. Just what the hell is Albanese doing in Australia by importing he's importing the wrong sort of people into the country regarding the Islamic brand of what I call potential terrorists because of what book they read. But beyond that, I'm not going to, you can have a look at my blog on Rise Up Australia, Brisbane 2025. I go more into the detail of the Trojan horse called Islam. But what is basically the communist government, Albanese, why are they bringing in so many people? Apart from buying blood money votes, that's one reason. The other reason is they just want to get the numbers up to make the GDP or the consumer price index look better. So to do that, I'm not going to go into this in great detail, you can look it up yourself. Consumer price index represents now this is straight on Google, which is quite good these days with AI. Consumer price index represents a weighted selection of goods and services commonly produced by households used to measure inflation. So they use the CPI to measure inflation. Now, the only problem is that only includes a certain amount of goods that they measure it with, and of course they manipulate the figures like you wouldn't believe. So the major groups that they use is foods, non-alcoholic beverages, right? Alcohol, tobacco, clothing, footwear, housing, household furnishing, services, health, transport, communication, recreation, education, and insurance and financial services. Weighted items, not all these items are equal. Items with higher spending, such as housing or food, have a larger impact on the total CPI result. Anyway, you can go into that in more detail, but the bottom line is what you don't find in the consumer price index is electricity or gas. So the biggest expense in a household is, apart from rent, is your electricity and gas. And I'll just double check that. Just basically consuming stuff at the groceries and all this sort of thing. So to counteract, I could be wrong with this, you'd have to check with someone like Jared Rennick, who knows all this back to front. To counteract the inflation, which is bad news in disguise, they import people who consume goods. And who would consume more goods than your mob from the Islamic caliphates? They've got 10 kids and 3 ISIS brides included with that. So that's a lot of the motivation behind Albanese et al. And when you have a look at the, where are we? Economy of Australia, let's go basket of goods, consumer price index, gross domestic GDP, consumer price. Okay, here's another, I'll just read this out. Consumer price index off the Bureau of Statistics, food and non-alcoholic beverages, alcohol and tobacco, clothing and footwear, housing, furnishings, health, transport, communications, recreation, culture, education, insurance and financial services. That's the list, but they weight the list in different proportions so they can fudge the figures basically. But in that, nowhere do you see gas and electricity, which is your biggest cost apart from rent in any sort of budget, domestic budget with a normal family. But if you go to the gross, I'll have a look at it here. Where are we? Did I bring up the GDP, gross domestic product? Gross domestic product, where are we? The economy of Australia. I've got Jared Rennick's thing there, and I'll go into that in a second. Here we go. Gross domestic product. This is another basket of goods. Gross domestic product represents a total market value of all final goods and services within a country's borders during a specific period of time, usually a quarter. Unlike consumer price index, which is a fixed basket of consumer goods, not including electricity and gas, of course, the GDP basket is not fixed. It adjusts annually and is reflected by the current position. Key components included in GDP is personal consuming of expenditures, goods and services. This includes cars, appliances, non-durable goods, food, clothing, and what have you. Gross domestic investment, businesses spending and blah, blah. Government consuming expenditure and gross investment, blah, blah. When you actually go through this, it's basically the nation's account records, really. And of course, everyone knows that Australia's basic underpinning cash flow situation is mining. And, when they talk about manufacturing here, what manufacturing? There isn't any. And then you have a look at all what they're doing regarding these renewables. That's totally subsidised by the government. And the only people making money out of that is the transnational corporations. China's making money out of with these so-called wind farms, solar panels and all the rest of it. And the current government is totally destroying the capacity for productivity in this country. Now, I don't claim to be an expert on this. I've just my observation. But now, not a lot of people, Gerard Rennick's sort of like a mate of mine anyhow, but, he's had certain opinions on different things regarding Israel and that, which I don't agree with. But his speciality is finances. That is what he is a real expert at. And, just go on to the his website and have a look at People First and go to the capital market policy and just see reform, capital risings and securities, short selling, superannuation, etc. Go through and have a look at his website where you will actually see a proper breakdown of financial policies. Now, I'll give Gerard this much. I don't see this on any other website. I don't. You go through, I'm not against One Nation. I think Pauline Hanson's doing a great job. But you go through Pauline Hanson's website, you don't really see the detail of financial solutions to problems like you do on Gerard Rennick's site. So, out of all the politicians, including the Liberals and also, Labor's hopeless, but the Liberals, you don't have this breakdown of policy regarding financial matters. So my advice is to go have a look at Gerard Rennick's website, and he does a real good explanation of financial matters. And he's got, my opinion is this, irrespective of the other things that I don't agree with Gerard with, I do agree that he has the financial solution to Australia. He's got the blueprint for the economic recovery of Australia, including, re-establishing our own bank and all this sort of thing. He understands this, better than anyone else I've come across. So go through his website and just have a bit of a look through it all, and you will find that he'll answer a lot of questions about the economy of Australia. So that's Graham Healy, Rise Up Australia Brisbane 2025. As I say, don't claim to be an expert in the economic field. I've got a little bit of an idea. But one thing I do know is Gerard Rennick certainly is. So have a look at his website, go through the different policies, and I believe he's got the blueprint for the economic recovery of Australia. Now, if anyone else reckons that someone else has got a better blueprint, well, let's have a look at it. I don't see it. I don't see it in any other websites. It's all just general statements, but you need to get down to specifics. And even on the Liberal Party's website, I don't see anything of substance on their website either. So that's Graham Healy, over and out. Have a great day. And remember, have a look at the Truth blog, which is political and prophetic, on Rise Up Australia Brisbane 2025. Okay, that's Graham Healy, over and out. Have a great day.